Ladies and gentlemen, may I have your attention, please?
Are you ready? Are you ready?
Yo, what up, what up? It's your boy Rubino.
And this DJ in the building.
And you listening to the UpNUp Podcast.
Yeah.
Wait, what are we doing?
I don't know, just listen.
Yes. Welcome.
What it do?
Ladies and gentlemen, you're tuned into the UpNUp Podcast. I'm your host, Rubino.
And I'm DJ man.
Yeah.
What it do?
How you feeling, bro?
I'm good, man. Feeling good.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Feeling great?
What about you?
You know, I'm blessed, man. I'm blessed, highly favored.
Mm-hmm.
This is episode 32. Episode 32. Can we get a round of applause for episode 32 one time? Oh, yeah, wake the crowd up over here, man. What's up, man? All right. Yeah, man, if this is your first time tuning in, this is the UpNUp Podcast. This is the podcast where we strive to cultivate culture. We do that by providing amazing stories of great, talented individuals, groups, and movements, man, who are just out here representing what it means to live life on the up and up, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's a lifestyle, right?
Always.
You got to live it to believe it.
Always.
Man, I feel like I'm selling this shit right now.
Sell it, bro.
Yeah, man. Now, I do always want to shout out the listeners and the viewers as well. Thank you guys, man. We can't thank you enough for the continued support, the good vibes, the good energy they're sending us, the feedback, you know. So make sure to rate, subscribe, and review, and like it too. Yeah, I got you, bro. Don't worry.
There you go.
Yeah, make sure to like it too. I love the feedback, man. I love getting reviews, people hitting us up, telling us how some of these episodes are connecting with them. That's what we do it for, right? That's what we do it for. We bring people like this up here so their story can connect to their story, right? Mm-hmm. And we could just, you know, keep pushing them. So, yeah, make sure to follow us. If you want to find the episodes, you can find them on YouTube, SoundCloud, and iTunes. Just type in the UpNUp Podcast. That's where you can find it. Also, please make sure to follow us on all social media platforms @ the UpNUp, right? Why should they do that?
Man, because we got fire content.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Not only that, but if you can see, if you're watching the video, we also have the limited edition Cultivate Culture dad hats available. They will be available online soon, right? Online store coming soon?
Coming soon.
Let them know, man.
Really soon.
Real soon.
Yeah.
Soon coming. But yeah, make sure to tap in, follow us @ the UpNUp if you want to get connected and get some of those. Now, getting that out the way, do you got any announcements you want to make? I feel like
yeah. I want to give a shout out to ETC Vibe. They're having their 1 year anniversary. I will be DJing with DJ Meek Chops.
Meek Chops.
My fault, bro. But yeah, so I'll be DJing. That's on February 10th, I believe, from 4 to 8.
Okay, shout out ETC Vibe,
yeah.
Man. 1 year anniversary.
Yep.
That's dope.
Yeah, that's
dope.
dope.
Another year of someone doing some dope shit, right?
Mm-hmm.
I love seeing that.
Oh, it's at Hyena Culture too.
Hyena
Shout
Culture?
out to them. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Well, I'm going to be there. And if you're listening and watching, please show up. Show some love.
Yeah.
That's what it's about. Now, getting that out the way. Any more announcements? We good?
We good, bro.
We good for now? Can we get to the shits?
Yeah, let's do
All
it.
right.
Let's do it.
Now, obviously, if you're a consistent listener or viewer, you obviously know we always bring a compelling story up here, right? We bring a guest up here who's always going to, emulate what it means to be on the up and up. And so I would say today's guest is a brother who's been spoken highly of, by former guests, right? Tacoma native Isaiah, who's on our show, Renaissance Talk. He spoke highly of this brother, and I would say, from what I've been able to witness from a distance, I would say him, along with his partners and team, has been able to carve a lane not only for himself but for his community, right, of Tacoma, Washington.
Yeah.
I would say he's a young culture cultivator who's keeping everything he's doing on the up and up, right?
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, otherwise he wouldn't be with us tonight, right?
For sure.
I don't think anybody's gonna sit in that seat unless they're doing that, right? Just to give you guys a little insight on the brother, he's here on his team's behalf. He's also one half of the duo that built and runs, I would say, one of the most thriving apparel retail stores, boutiques, however you want to frame it, in this region known as ETC Tacoma. Mm-hmm. And yes, if you don't know where they're located, they're in Tacoma. I just said it. Pull up. Aside from that, aside from just selling dope threads and dope merch and just dope items, another thing I really enjoy about this company and brand is that they also have an added focus on community, right? And finding a way to use and leverage what they're doing in the retail space and the apparel space, and also giving it back to their community. So I also shout them out for that. Now let's just get straight to it, man. All right, you ready? People ready?
Man.
People are ready, man. Our guest is none other, man. I made this up. Than the boss with the sauce. All right. Then the boss with the sauce. And community leader himself, Umi Wagoner. Can we get a round of applause for the brother? How you doing, my guy?
I'm doing well. I'm doing very well. Thank you guys. Thank you both for having me. Thank you all for having me out.
Yes, sir.
I appreciate it.
Man, thank you for coming, man.
We appreciate it.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Shout out to everybody, man. Shout out to you and Perry as well.
For sure.
Yeah, man. How you feeling, man? You feeling good?
I'm doing well.
Yeah?
I'm always doing well, though.
That's good.
Too blessed to be stressed.
Hey.
Yeah.
We should make a T-shirt out of that. Idea alert.
I think there is a T-shirt.
We just got to touch it up a little bit, put our own spin on it. Now, I don't know if you're familiar with the show. We usually start the show off with the quote of the day. This is just something to get the vibe right, get the mood right. We got people in the audience as well. They need to get their minds right too. So, quote man.
Yeah, that's me.
What you got?
All right, so the quote for today.
I'm ready for this one.
Is every thread of creation is held in position by other strands of things living.
Who said that?
Don McLean.
Don McLean. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Got the name right this time too. So I'm gonna ask you to run it back, man. Run that back. That's pretty deep.
Every thread of creation is held in position by other strands of things living.
Oh, I see what you did there.
You see that? Yeah.
Okay. Shout out to Quote Man for today's quote. Now, to kind of give you framework on the quotes, we bring him in because we want something that'll tie into your story as well, right? And I think kind of speaking to what he said, aside from just the word threads, which gets people's attention when it comes to, fashion and whatnot, and fabrics, but it talks about that interconnection and how, a lot of other things have to be put in place for you to do what you want to do, right? So before we get into everything you're currently doing, and I know you're doing a lot and you have a lot planned, this podcast is essentially a way to provide context to your success, right? Too much nowadays, people just see the final product and they don't know what went into it, how it got built up. So let's take it back, man. Let's take it back to kind of your early upbringings. You grew up in Tacoma?
100%, yeah.
So let's talk about that. How was it growing up there? And I guess how did that what did you kind of experience early on and maybe into your teen years that kind of led you would say, on this path?
Dressing has always been a thing, but I think that's a big thing in our region in general. And then a lot of mine, it comes from there's a store, a heritage part of it, but that's stuff that I guess was all there kind of organically. Nothing that I was I don't know, I wasn't sweating it, I like to dress was the main thing, right? I think all of us liked to do, right? Yeah. Especially when we could, right?
Yeah.
And so for me, I grew up in a mid to lower class black family, but they made it work for sure. So the main thing is there were incentives, about classwork and that sort of thing, and they had already put me in a position to do very well. Little did I know, just study habits and that sort of thing. But they were if you do well, you get stuff. So performance for product, and so then you kind of get into stuff, and then my taste level was kind of higher a little earlier, right?
Where do you think that came from?
My mother, who was she was a real shoppy lady. She's from Southern California.
Okay.
And she was the fashion designer and owned a store in Tacoma and so on and so forth. So that's
so
where
it's
all intrinsically it's all there. But when she had the store, I was right? Hiding, able to hide under the circular, you know what I'm saying? So tiny, but yeah, so that's where I've always been into clothing. And the same goes for P. That's my story, but P has always been a dresser, but he comes from a super clean cut family as well. You know what I'm saying? So
not an artsy family.
I can't really speak to that. I know that Paris is artsy, naturally, or he's ambidextrous, and he draws with his left and stuff like that. But he plays basketball, does all that stuff with his right hand. But he he's always had that. Whenever we worked together, we started working together on projects, school projects, pretty early on in life, and everything always somehow ended up having a design aspect of it. And I'm an idea man. I got big ideas, right? And P's can whittle my idea down into perfection.
I know that's important.
Yeah,
important.
I mean that's what you need. You need a team,
that dynamic's
and
important.
I come from watching teams make it happen.
Oh,
so
yeah.
it's like easy to be on a team.
Yeah, no, definitely. And even like you guys grew up together, so that's even crazier.
But yes. At this point, we've grown up together because we met in like the 8th grade. It was the summer going into high school, and then we ended up going to the same high school, which was like all kind of just like random,
organic.
Yeah, not knowing each other, but like also early understanding like. Yeah, like he's on what I'm on, because the reason why we were like in groups together is like, yeah, that's my partner. Like it's like, yo, you gotta pick somebody you don't know. It's like I'm here with my best friend, but like this is gonna be my partner for this project. You know,
y'all just had some. I feel like y'all just, I don't know. The
Yeah.
universe just had a way to just
honestly
draw
just
y'all
drawn
together.
to each other.
That's
Yeah,
dope.
and we're both like, I'm not really into this at all, but like we're really both Aquarius, and that was like where we came into like the first name of our brand is Aquarius, and like another thing because we're like, yo, what's our meeting point besides like the fact that, you know, we're both studious and black and we like clothing. I was like, oh, I guess, you know, there is that. Our birthdays are pretty close together.
That's dope. It's like a match made in heaven, bro. Wow.
Yeah, God, I mean,
God is good. Yeah.
all time.
For real. So I kind of want to get into it, just ETC. So what is ETC? Like, what does it stand for?
Et cetera, man. It's like accessories and that sort of thing. Like I was starting to tell the story, just like organically. You know, originally when we were so there was a brand that we had when we were like in high school, brand in college, and the brand in college was an accessories brand. So then like the ETC came about like as the store that would carry the product, right? And then it would carry like every type blank T-shirt you could think of. Like we were really into blanks back then, you know, just having like blank T-shirts. Everyone was kind of into that at that moment. So that was like where the idea came from. And then, honestly, what happened was we did the F2P thing, Flawed to Perfection. And as we were transitioning out of that, basically, he was like, yo, we should just like, it needs something fresh to it or whatever. Or it wasn't even that. Honestly, that's crazy. How you can forget the story, man. It was the fact that we were going to start a store. So the idea was not to have a brand anymore.
Yeah.
It was like, yo, we're just going to have a store and we'll have a tight store brand. Like that'll be tight, right?
Yeah.
Like, cause that's what I was into at the moment was like just store brands. I would go to all these stores wherever I was at. I was like living in LA at the time. And anytime I would like be able to go to like someplace or whatever elsewhere, I'll go to the store, and it was just about picking up the T-shirt from the store. Yeah. Like it didn't really matter like what was in the store. I could get all that shit wherever, you know, but the store shirt is like the one that matters, right? So that was always the idea behind it, you know. And it's still really the idea behind like ETC Tacoma. That's why ETC Tacoma is the store, right? And that can be other things. Yeah. And then et cetera is the brand. But that all means ETC. So it just works out that way.
It's all
you know
interconnected.
what I mean? Like,
It's all interconnected.
Yeah.
And also like, so you know, a consistent theme on this show, we've had some guests who started early. Right. I would say you guys started early, right?
Yeah, without knowing it.
Without knowing it.
Yeah,
and
totally
so
without knowing it. 100%.
I'm curious because for you guys in high school, would you say it was a no-brainer to just go into business?
1,000%.
Right? Because I feel like were you guys selling shirts in high school? Or
1,000%.
Or did you?
That was the last year and a half of school, just selling shirts.
Okay, so it wasn't just branding. It was like we're actually going to make this a business.
Yeah, for sure. But we were like also kids that were always in like something that somebody was like, yo, what is that type of situation? You know, we were still fresh.
So y'all
like,
were tastemakers.
That was always a thing.
Y'all were the tastemakers?
Yes and no. Like,
because shit, go ahead, man.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I want to say yes and no. You know, everyone had like their own thing, but like ours was, and this is what Tacoma was like big on, and like I guess sticks in my mind so much that I wouldn't even say we were tastemakers. Everyone's beef was about being unique. Like but there was only like 4 places to shop, but everyone's beef is like about being unique, and that's why blank tees was such a big deal. Like, nigga, you can't match my color, or if we're both in white, we both in white tees.
Yeah,
so it's just like that was the whole thing, and that's why streetwear worked out so well for us, just as an industry, because it just made so much sense to our business sensibilities, but then it also made so much sense to like where we're from and like how we were raised and how we look at like clothing in the whole nine, you know. So.
Yeah, and so now if we take it from we have a brand, right?
Yep.
We know what we're doing here, and we know that we can potentially make money off this.
Right.
Now, because I asked this because you know we have a lot of listeners and viewers who themselves might also want to go into this lane, right? Who might want to start something of their own. So from that moment of saying, okay, we have our brand, this is what it is, and I know you guys started selling your clothes in stores, correct? Is that how you started?
Yes, originally. Yep, 100%.
Yeah. So from that point on, of knowing you have a brand out of high school, and getting your clothes into stores, what's that process like? How does one get their clothing in stores to kind of promote it a little bit more
for sure
effectively?
So it was out of college that we really like had a brand that we were trying to put in places.
Okay.
And when we were doing that, it was mostly through friends, man. Like, and that's like a big part. I would say is a big part of it. Like, just build your network first. If you think this is something what you want to do, like R&D, like you gotta do all the research and development, which part of that development is a network. Like, you don't just walk into it blindly. Like, I mean, you can, and you see, like, that's the struggle story, and everyone's
That's
like
real.
a struggle story is kind of fun and real, you know, to tell when it's successful. But a lot of people live the struggle story and just stop.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
you just gotta R&D it out, you know, like be at all the shops. Like, if there's a shop that you want to be at, like, be in the shop.
Yeah.
Like, break bread often.
Ask
if
for
that's
help.
what it takes. Like, that's investing in a way that you need to know. Like, but you need to know that
That's
also.
real.
So
That's real. That's a powerful message too.
I'm really good at
real.
spending money that like leads to money. You see, like, and I just mean that by like I'm good at burning cash.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
It's nothing. This will lead to something.
Yeah, but it doesn't even feel like spending money at that
Not
point.
with
It
never
feel- it
with the
feels
way
like
that I've spent money. It always ends up being an investment in some way. Even
Exactly.
with sneakers, it was like back then it was like, yo, you spend a lot of money on sneakers, but like now look at it.
Yeah,
It's
I
like
can flip them.
yeah, somehow you just know the value like was by looking at it.
Yeah,
like,
you're either forward thinking or you're a slave of the moment. That's kind of how I look at it.
100%.
You know what I mean?
yeah.
For real. So what would you say are like some of the main topics that people need to know when like building and maintaining a brand?
I think, sorry about that. So I guess the main thing is like when you're building the brand, you definitely need to like know the story behind the brand, and that you need to know that it will also continue to grow and change because like, you're not like, you don't want to stay in one chapter of the story, but you need to know like where you want to take the brand. I think aesthetically you need to know where you want to go.
Yeah.
But they also understand that can be manipulated later on. But I mean, not really. If you end up doing something that people like you kind of got to go with the winning play. Yes, you could be the guy that goes against the grain, but you see like that's a big risk.
It's kinda
you
tough.
need to know that risk to
Yeah.
reward.
Yeah.
Like you really need to do the numbers on that one
That's
before
real,
you
though.
do anything ridiculous. Once you
Yeah.
get a business going, because what you need to also understand is like diversify your business. Like start another business.
Yeah.
Cloak and dagger it. Like just do a business where you're not like running around you've got the network. Be like, yo, I'm starting something, bro. But I don't really want it to look like the other one. So like we're doing this. Like,
Where do you think that stems from though? Because I feel like we were having this conversation before you even came here. We were talking about like why people should just start businesses, right? Because I was talking to this attorney one time and he was telling me like, yo, I see white dudes come in here every few years or so and they're always asking me to help them with another business that they're starting. Like they're starting business like it's clockwork. You know what I'm saying?
well, why would you not?
Exactly, right? So I think that's a powerful message in terms of, okay, like you can't put all your eggs in one basket. It's not realistic, you know?
I think it has something to do with like being business minded.
Yeah, that's true.
Like being business minded, I think people calculate it up to like accounting at this point, which is like, I guess, but like accountants don't got no ideas a lot of the time. Just punch numbers, you know?
Yeah,
And
that's
so,
true.
you know, they'd have to find something that works, which would take like, you know, all that R&D. But yeah, like, pardon me, I feel like the main thing with it, I'm sorry, what was the question again?
No, I was just making a point because you mentioned that, you know, when this doesn't work, we just, you know, let's just pivot, you know, let's pivot and start something new.
Well, I guess people stop to answer your question. Then I guess people stop because that at the end of the day, like that was their idea. So once you get that idea off the ground, like you did it, you know, type of thing, you know. And so if like that's what your goal was.
Yeah, and I think it's deeper too, just within our community. Like we don't have a lot of images. Well, you can even speak to people's family, like generationally. They probably haven't seen a lot of examples of business, businesses being owned within their family. So it's like they really feel like this is it. This is the one. It has to hit. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So I think, but people like you and others that I see out here doing it are going to break that curse. right? They're gonna show you it's normal to just shoot your shot. Just shoot your shot as many times as you can, because that's what the white folks do. That's what the Jewish folks do. You know, so it's like we got to shoot our shots. Now, I know it's not just you who's working on this. You mentioned Perry, and I'm sure you probably have some other people who help you guys out as well.
For sure, certainly.
A consistent theme on this show is teamwork. Teamwork makes a dream work. We always talk about that. You know what I mean?
Big.
So how was it for you guys developing your dynamic? Obviously, you were friends early on, but once once money starts getting involved, how was it dealing with that?
Man, I can't even explain me and P's situation. So ours just works. There really is nothing to it. Like, and there's a lot of trust. No, that's the word. There's a lot of trust. I guess when I ask a question, there's a lot of trust. He asked me for something. He was like, "This will work." All right, bro. You know, like it's not. Yeah, it's really. There's not a lot of thinking that goes into it. But I've learned that like that's what you don't see a lot of. So at this point, like I don't question any of it. It's just like it works. When I say something, he's like, that's tight. And like when we look at everything is unanimous anyway, the decision making. So if I don't like something, or he doesn't like something, it's just dead in the water. But there are like always more ideas.
Yeah.
You know. So
and there's always I feel like there's always a bigger picture at the end of the day.
Certainly.
So it makes it easier to have those conversations.
For sure. And I think for us it's like we got options. There's so many, like, you know how many decisions that we're gonna make today? Let me have this one. Like, yeah, you got that one. You know what I mean? Like that's really what it comes down to. So.
That's right.
And then outside of that, like, I think that me and P have begun to be good at like delegating as well. You know, and like really being okay with kind of like letting some stuff go. You know, and not like running. You know, it was like run everything by each other type situation, but. Now, like, you know, we found other people that have, like, really worn their stripes the right way. And, like, now, like, they understand, like, oh, yeah, that's why I had to do all that. Like, because of this. Like, this feels amazing. I like working for this company and so on and so forth. So, but that is extremely hard to do in, like, a small business.
Yeah,
right?
I agree.
Because, again, that's trust.
Yeah.
You're like, now I'm trusting you with, like, my child, and, like, I got to walk away
and
or want to be away.
Too. A lot of friends going to, you hear that concept, like, you know, friends shouldn't do business together.
Yeah, you hear that often.
That shit is pushed heavily, man.
Yeah, it is. A little too much, honestly.
A little too much, I agree.
I think it's just different because, you know, you got to realize, like, business is business, and then friends are friends.
Right.
And so you can still go into, like, a business with a friend.
Certainly.
And no, this is straight business when you guys are talking about business.
Exactly.
Just, like, mixing all that stuff together, you know what I mean?
For sure.
Yeah, I think also just from my own experience, like even within the UpNUp, right, we have many team members, and I think the biggest thing is knowing your why. I feel like when you know your why and what the hell you guys are even showing up in this room for, it makes it easier to have those disagreements. It makes it easier to have that discourse where you're like, yo, I'm not feeling that. Yeah. And he won't take offense to that because he understands we're all here for that one why. Yeah, like you know what I'm saying?
Bigger picture.
Exactly. The bigger picture matters. So I feel like a lot of people are always focused on just the day-to-day. It's like, dog.
Like every battle.
Yeah. I'm sure you and Perry like, yo, dog, we're thinking down the line. Like, so what's happening right now?
Arguing over this colorway is nuts.
Yeah.
Like, we're not doing that. Yeah.
I mean, we're trying to get there, but
we can't
we
argue
can have this conversation right now.
Yeah, we don't do that.
We still gotta go.
Just gotta keep going.
Man, that's good though. I'm glad you touched on that. Now, listen, man, I think everybody pays attention to fashion in some way, shape, or form. I'm always curious about how you guys go about designing, because you guys have some really, really unique designs, right?
We appreciate that.
Yeah, and so how do you go about designing your catalog? Because one, is it just you guys or you're in-house? Two, do you have a consultant who comes in and gives you some advice? Because, like, for example, like I'll see Kanye shit, and I'm like, who the hell's consulting this guy, right? Like, that's just me personally. I don't like it. This shit looks weird to me, like the holes and all that stuff in it.
For sure.
And I'm like, was it him or was it someone else? So how do you guys come up with your catalog?
Right now, like the coolest thing about what we do, and we're not like shying away from, is like, and we don't use the term streetwear. You know what I mean? Just because it's not supposed to be like a real thing, but it had to make money, so it did. It turned into a thing, right? So whatever. So we are streetwear, but you know, we gave ourselves the title rare wear because that more kind of defines what we actually do. And I guess for us, it's all about, like, again, we're graphics. So because I said all that to say, like, streetwear comes from graphics. So it's like skateboard culture, which, and so streetwear comes from that. It comes from skateboard culture because what streetwear is like skateboard apparel, like more focused.
Okay.
And I say that in terms of like I guess things get more fashiony because with skate apparel, it's like, yeah, we made denim, and like, yeah, we kind of got trendy with it, but we're just kind of making like, you know, this is like stuff for you to be able to wear and tear and keep moving, you know, versus like what, you know, the homies do, which is like really strive to make small run good stuff, you know, that has like branding behind it, which then has the message behind it.
Yeah, it sounds like a lot of trial and error.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, there's a ton of that.
Okay.
So what would you say is harder, like the design process or finding like the right garments? You know what I mean?
Man,
that's a good question.
Definitely like sourcing garments is easily sourcing garments because like a lot of what we do now is like trickling into like the cut and sew thing. And so we're not just making t-shirts and pullovers anymore. And we found things that really make sense in terms of like providing quality, can handle all of our wild graphic ideas and embroidery and all that in terms of like
dealing with them vendors.
Garment. Yeah, you know, for sure.
Dealing with them vendors.
Yeah. And then so like sourcing is definitely that's forever the thing, like, you know, the thing that kind of like ruined our industry in the first place, like how do you get it for cheaper? Which is kind of crazy. That. And in hindsight, I'm like, I don't really care about that anymore. It's like, how do we just get it to the number that we're going for, like, and realize that the number needs to be more realistic. Like, that's the main thing. But then at the same time, you need to realize, like, well, what's realistic to the consumer?
That's real.
That's real. Realistic to someone who's like, oh yeah, I know this garment inside out, versus someone who's like, yeah, I'm just trying to like wear this for a couple weeks.
Yeah. And that's the thing about fashion, man. Shit changes quick.
For real.
Yeah.
Literally, bro. Drake can go put on some shit right now, and it'll shape the whole culture. And people are like, nah, I ain't wearing what he's selling anymore. Right? I'm going with that.
Yeah, in terms of trends.
So how much do you have to stay, you know, up to date and current on what's going on? What's
We
popping?
don't have to at all, man. That's the best thing about what we do is like we're off the map in regards to that. Like we're like a bleep over here in terms of like where it's the radar, because it's like, that's not even a part of what we do.
Got you.
You know,
you got
like,
identity. You know who you are.
Exactly. Well, because and we have to, because it has to stay focused. It has to be like such a brand, like, you know, expect to stay like the size that we want to stay, and like to drive it the right way, you know, to be. You don't want to be chasing trends either, bro. Yeah, that's the other thing. It's like, you know, and then we watch what the big companies have done, you know, like, or the companies that we consider the big homie brands to our brand. It's like you watch Stussy and it's like these dudes it's amazing, bro. They've like floated in and out. Like they've been in Macy's, but then they haven't been in Macy's. They've been in every skate shop, but then they haven't been in every skate shop. They've been in boutiques. They also have stores all over the world. They have like a higher end brand that always kind of follows the same surfer aesthetic. Like they just do their thing, you know. And it just works because like, you know, you just new fans, and then they learn about you, and then everyone loves a good history, everyone loves a good story, you know what I mean? And then they're like, oh, how long has this been here? And then you just forever got new fans, but then you have these old fans that are like, it's all I wear. You know, like you build that diehard brand. The supreme motherfuckers, bro. Yeah, but see, the thing is like crazy. Before that was like the one that you saw, like Prima's been around for forever. Just like how Bape was around for 10 years in Japan. But what I'm saying about that is like everyone's spotlight just happens at the right time, right? Yeah. And I would say like, James Jebba, the dude, like his spotlight happened like James Jebba, he's the one who owns or owned. Yeah, but like his shit, like. So is he the owner of Bape? No, I'm sorry, Supreme. I'm sorry. Supreme. Yeah. Like his just like lined up just perfectly because it's like at the boom of like learning about resale, which really has to do with shoes, but like he's like one of the brands. Like there are very few brands that have like this resale value. He's one of them. He happens to be the biggest, but they also have always been smart to like be a lifestyle brand, although it's a skate brand, and all those accessories and those things that like bring in a new fan in a weird way every time, you know, just amazing.
I remember the first time I seen a Bape hoodie was Lil Wayne's Hustler music video.
Yeah.
I didn't know what the hell that brand was until I saw that video. I actually didn't even know. Even when I saw the video, I was like, that's just dope. You know? So I feel like, is that something you guys try to do? Is try to get your products? I mean, obviously, it's kind of like a no-brainer, but
no.
Do you like? Where's that balance? Where it's like,
it's
you know,
tough.
I'm cool what we're doing, but at the same time, I do want to expand. I want to get people.
I'm telling you, that's like what I'm battling with right now.
Okay.
Because like, I've also come from the industry, so I know how it's done. And like, there have been moments where I've been like, that's whack. That's whack. Fam. That is wackety. What?
Yeah.
And and then it's like, now you're in a position where like, but it works though. So now you're in a position where it's like, what do you do? You know. But I mean, for us, I'm like, you know, this is like everything. Like, this isn't everything. It's just like the thing. Like, this is what we're doing, right? Like, this is what we're doing. So it doesn't. Nothing has to change. Nothing. This is what we want to do. Is like have this company, have this brand, and make it grow. In whatever way possible. So for me, it feels like we're so young still that it's just like, I don't need to be worried about any of that. And then you look at then like, again, been in the industry for a while, you get to like see every success story, like how it works. It's like, it all just takes time, which is a thing that I've already known. So it's like, all this stuff just feels like confirmation, where it's like, I guess we could throw it on somebody, but it's already ended up on people pretty randomly. Like, it's on X. Why does Complex only use the photo of the dude in the Etc. t-shirt? I don't know. But everyone only uses this photo of DMX from what I see. You know, and it might be because it's in my micro climate of life.
But that's the best way for it to happen too, when it's organic. You know, you're like, how the hell do you get my shirt?
You know,
shit,
it's
that's
just
dope.
like,
that's dope.
So that kind of stuff is always just very interesting.
It feels good, though. It does feel good, though.
Yeah, for sure. It's good. Yeah, it's good for all of those moments are kind of like shocking to the point where you're kind of like, dang, like, that's crazy. Where you're just, I'm y'all.
Yeah.
You know, like, hey, that's wild.
That's lit, man.
That's what's up.
Yeah,
that's
for real.
lit. That's lit.
So, y'all sell clothes online?
Yep. Online web is big for us, but it's not as big for us anymore since having brick and mortar. I can't lie. Like,
what's the difference?
I think a lot of people just know that we have a brick and mortar, so they want to feel the experience.
Yeah.
So like our online reach is like really the out of state stuff. And so, like, you know, that's here and there, but a lot of our fans are in state, so, you know, like, we ship to Seattle a good amount, and like Federal Way and Puyallup, Spano, you know what I'm saying? Like, all the neighborhood cities, which that probably feels the best thing, honestly.
Having space.
Knowing that there's a kid that's, like, up in the morning, like, from Spanaway, like, like, yes. That's like, for me, I'm like, yo, this is,
it's crazy, right?
As long as I'm getting that ding on my phone, like, we're Gucci forever, bro. And there don't even got to be a lot of them. Again, we don't do a lot of online business. Like, a lot of it's being in the store, but that is tight. No,
that's important, though, because having a storefront, I remember I was in L.A. I don't know if you ever been to a store called Apartment 4B.
Yeah,
on Fairfax.
Moon.
Yeah. Okay. Well, shit. If anybody ever goes to L.A., go on Fairfax Ave, go to Apartment 4B. That shit, it will trip you out.
Yeah, it's amazing.
It's
man.
crazy.
His decor is crazy, and he's like an interior designer by like backstory as well.
Okay, it makes sense.
He's
like,
a fool with it.
Yeah, so like you walk in and it's literally an apartment, project apartment from New York. And literally, you're in the living room, and everything's set up like you're in an apartment, but it's actually a store at the same time, which is crazy. So, when you guys how was it difficult to get your space? Because again, I always want shit to trickle back to our listeners and to our viewers in terms of those who want to get into a space and start a brick and mortar. Was it difficult for you guys? Was it more so just finding the right price, or how did that work?
Exactly. For us, it wasn't very difficult though. I gotta be honest, but that's because like we're talking about Tacoma like 5 years ago at this point. So like, and I know that sounds weird, but like Seattle 5 years ago was like starting to do this, but like in 5 years it's like this. Like, and I know from working, like I worked out here. I worked in Kirkland for a minute, so it was like every day I was in the city, you know. Like, always up here. And I've worked in Ballard for like a long time ago, you know what I mean? Like, so seeing like how that has gone like pretty immediately, so much that it's like, damn, like shit's starting to happen real quick. You know, Tacoma was the same way. It was like nothing there, and then, you know, a year and a half into being there, it's like, hey, McMenamins is about to break ground in Tacoma.
Wow.
Like, what? And then all of a sudden, like, hey, you know, we got our first crane in Tacoma. Like, The Chinese people that are buying back up the land from like when they were like disrespected here, basically. It's like, awesome, like you know. So for us, it did just kind of happen at a time where, you know, we bought while it was low type situation. You know,
that's smart.
Yeah, and again, like that's all a timing thing. Like a big part of business and just anything in life is like your timing, like you know.
That's real.
And so I think that's it. But then timing goes into like having the patience to look. We looked for a long time, and for a long time we were forcing it to be on 6th Ave, which is like what is considered like the Ave in Tacoma, right?
Yeah,
so we were like, gotta be in the business district. Wouldn't make sense to be anywhere else.
Yeah.
Like, of course, you know, but then the streetwear in me and P is always like, but streetwear straps are always like, duck the fuck out. Like, that's the whole point of it, you know? And for a long time, we wanted to be on like the hills of Tacoma, so it was like, we only looking on a hill. You know, you like whittle away your expectations, but you got to have some, right? So that's really what it comes down to. And again, like that timing, it's time and patience. So it just all comes back into like, you know,
everything happens the way it's supposed to,
or something.
Like everything happens the way it's supposed to.
No,
man.
it's
like you literally.
You don't make no mistakes.
I swear to God,
I'll probably say that like 50 times a day, man.
I
Over like small stuff.
Nah, I don't question shit, bro. I don't question nothing, man. Like
it's all humor, bro. It's worth laughing at,
man.
Your life's either a comedy or a tragedy.
And then when you end up at that said destination, which is your store now, like you probably look back like, damn, we was tripping over what?
Over
we
what?
was tripping over what?
Over anything, though. Like, things only matter when they matter, like, and then like tomorrow happens, or like an hour later. Like, different,
nah.
You know, so.
I just ask you to talk about that because, you know, again, we just want to provide context, man. Like we know what you guys are doing is working. We know the products are fire. We know the quality's high. But it's like, what don't people know? And this is what they don't know, and that's why it's important for you to share that. Now that we're in the store, I feel like we're just walking through.
I know, right?
All right. So we're in the store. Now, obviously, I touched on it early on when I was doing the intro for the show. You guys pride yourself on being able to not just be a clothing store, but also a space for your community, right?
Yeah.
So 2-part question. 1, what was like the first example of that when you guys tried that? And then 2, talk about how important it is for us. And when I say us, y'all know who I'm talking about, to have our own spaces.
Oh, man.
If that's a loaded question.
Yeah. Yeah, man. Well, the first thing is the thing that still moves. Like, and I was always like, this is golden. I don't even understand this. It's open mic night, bro. Goodness gracious, open mic night. That is a gem. That is a gem. Yo, open a business and start open mic night, fam. Yeah. I'm telling you, just like, because people, the biggest thing about it, and then I'm like, you know, some like weird, we can get deep type stuff. Then it's like, people just want to be heard. Like, bottom line, people just want to be heard. So, like, if you give people space to be heard, like, yo, they're coming to talk.
That's real.
Like, on any given Sunday, man. Like, they're going to find the time. You know what I'm saying?
It's not a thing either to do it.
It's nothing.
Just open the door.
Literally.
Leave it open.
Literally. So, so that's been the thing. And, like, that was the first thing that we were like, why do we get people in here for a community aspect? You know, we were like, everybody once been asking us about throwing a party or performance here, since that's what we did to like open up. And so we were like, well, let's just, let's do open mic now. Let's get people in here. And then once they're in here, they'll be like, I've never been here, or we already know that. Like, we know, we know that it's hard to walk into a boutique, especially in Tacoma, but definitely hard to walk into a boutique just because it feels like, buy some food. Why are you in here? You know what I'm saying? Yeah. It's not the mall where everyone's in here and you're like, what you pressing me for? But when you walk into a boutique, it could just be you and the employee. You know what I mean? Like,
hurry up and buy. Hurry up and buy.
It's about to be an awkward conversation, or like, is he gonna let me shop? And like,
that's crazy.
The big part of the streetwear culture though is like to kind of ignore you until you're like, yo, fam, you got this in my size? So like, we stick to that. Like, hey, how you doing today, when they walk in, because we're in Tacoma. And I feel like if we didn't do that, I just feel like we're in Washington, and if we didn't do that, people would be like, they was rude. Yeah. So, you got to say like, what's up? And then after that, it's like, let me know if you need help, man.
I don't think a lot of stores understand that. Like, dude, don't talk to me. I'm good.
Well, shopping is like, yo, you got to let me shop. We ain't shopping together, fam. I didn't come here to shop with you.
Unless you're paying for my shit, let me find what I want, and then I'm going to come to you. I get it. Like, you're right. You do have to greet them.
Yeah,
right?
that's it.
Because that is something that I pay
It could
attention
get
to,
weird
too.
if you don't.
It can get real weird. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, greet me and then let me do my thing.
Then
right?
and I'm like, for us, the atmosphere is like we're working. So like, P's like right there, but in the design department, like he's not paying. Like he like looked up at and our store boy, like our head salesman, like my guy Daz, like he's the store manager and like he's like amazing. He's an amazing salesman. So we don't even like. You know, he just came home. Like we're talking about like 6 months in, so it's beautiful to like not have that. But then I've got like a long retail experience, and Paris is just practical. So you know what I mean. So he's not gonna press you. Yeah, you know what I'm saying. So it just has always kind of worked. But yeah, we're playing video games and like whatever. You know, like pause what?
Yeah,
like, yeah. You know what I'm saying. So
it's got to be an experience, though. I love that, man.
Yeah, we definitely pride ourselves on it feeling a certain way when you walk in, for sure. Yeah. But also feeling like us. Yeah. And you know what I mean when I say that.
They know. Yeah. They know. If they don't know, wake up.
No, but I think people will like gravitate towards that like transparency, you know?
Oh, certainly.
Like, like, damn, this how they're just like me. I'll walk in and be like, oh, they're on the sticks just like me.
Yeah, for
I would be at the house.
Yeah, and that's the thing that works anyway, because like the whole point is to make you a lifelong fan, which means you got to be like-minded in some way. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Yeah. No, that's dope, man. And then I think it's like, you know, people always walk into certain spaces and be like, man, if I had this space, this is what I'd do.
Yeah.
Get a space.
Yeah.
Figure it out.
Yeah,
and then like make it your own. Because a lot of times you don't know what's possible until you get into a space and you're like, oh, we could do what?
And I just feel like people always trip like, like it just comes like, it just kind of happens that way where we come from like this community where the idea is like, yo, like any space could work. Like any space. Which is wild to say, but I mean like any, like this space could work.
This studio
like,
was that space that you're talking about.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
so
literally.
like, so for me, that's why when you say like get any space, I mean like figure out what you want to do in the building and whatnot, so that you can do it there and you're not dealing with that headache. But like then yes, get a space and like it could be 400 square feet, bro. I've seen $1 million get made in 600 square feet. Just get a space.
Damn.
Just get a space. So like
$1 million in 600 square feet.
Yeah, you can't be picky out here.
Do the math.
Yeah. So just get a space, and then you can do whatever you want. Again, you could host your homie's food party. It's your space. It could get super private real quick. Like Cloak and Dagger. You could draw it's your space.
Man, that's a hashtag is your space. We're about to start. No, we got to, bro.
Man, it's a real thing.
People don't get it, man. Everybody got money.
It feels like this is y'all space.
This is,
and that's what I'm saying. Like you talked about, like building it up. Like I saw, I listened and saw podcasts where you talked about like putting it together. And it's like, it takes a little bit of that, but there's a little bit of that you can do. You know what I mean?
And once you build it, it's like now you can be more creative. Now you have control. Now you can start working. You have some leverage. That's another word I think people need to understand is leverage, right?
Yeah. Because the word that I like to use that I think was parallel with leverage is like there needs to be some validity behind it. You need something that validates like what you're doing. You know, you have to have that. And for us, that a big part of us and the brand was like, we're a brand online, but like when we had the brick and mortar for Tacoma, who doesn't really see much, they were like, oh, for real?
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Because a lot of people talk about, I'm gonna do that. There's a lot of talk, which I never really thought about. But then when people are like, y'all just be making it happen, I'm like, I guess I never hung around like the Tacomans that were talking and weren't like doing it, because like the dudes I was with, like we were always doing stuff, So
no, that's
get
real,
that
man.
Space, man. And us as we definitely just need space, because again, then you can do anything in said space, man. Your mans can run a business out the back of said space, like
straight up.
You just got out of space. Because when we were first open, like in our first year and a half, when you're like, okay, we're making money, but like, how do we make more money? Because you're just like, that's all you're thinking when you got the space open. It's like, now we got to the money just needed to rain in here. Like we were thinking about putting a barber chair in the back, like one secret chair, like, and for certain people, you can get this certain like experience, and like you'll be in the back, and like you'll be able to shop that way too. Like it was like anything to like up the ante a little bit, and like. And then there was like, Pussy's our barber homie. He just cutting out the crib or pulling up. You see what I'm saying? So that's what it's just give someone the space to do it. A couple of hours. He could. You'll figure.
It's crazy, man. It's a freeing feeling, man.
Seriously,
that's really what it is, man. I think, us as a people, we just want to be free, right? But it's
100%.
like sometimes doing shit like this, you'll start feeling what that means.
Yeah,
I
think you gotta understand. Yeah, we gotta understand that there's like other ways to feel that like financial freedom. Yeah, you know. Yeah. Like of course not be a millionaire, but like feel financial. Like having this, like a place to go create or do whatever you're gonna do. Yeah. Like just invest a little bit in something that like you care about, you know, but find something you care about. Like I've also learned that there are people that just don't care, don't force it.
That's real. You gotta know your why. You gotta have a why first.
Creative control, man. Yeah, there's nothing like it.
That's real, man.
Nothing like that, man.
Dropping some gems, man. No, that's big, man. That's big. And I want people to know that. It's like at first people are thinking, oh, okay, they got a store. It's like no. After hearing this shit, you're like, no, it's not just a store. Yeah, it's a symbol, bro. That's how I look at it, man. I try to look at things a little deeper, so that's dope, man. Now, I also want to touch on what's on the horizon. We always want to give our guests a chance to kind of touch on things and announce things. I know you walked in here with some items, so you can also show those off, too, if you'd like.
Sure, man. Just, like, in terms of, like, doing what we, like, always have wanted to do, and, like, again, ETC, like, it's supposed to be accessories. And so, man, like, honestly, we love socks, and that was like a weird connection from jump with me and P too. It's like socks, so then like that's why the company was a sock company, because we were like, yeah, let's make the best American made sock and all this sort of thing. So we're just trying to get back into accessories. Okay, you know, like I said, you kind of gotta like just move with the business. Like
y'all make ankle socks. Y'all make ankle socks.
We do that, yeah. Nah, we probably will run the ankle socks.
Ah, damn.
Like
okay.
Be cruel.
All right,
I'm not gonna lie though. Socks are like underrated though. You know,
yeah, but
like
also,
I get a lot of comments on like different socks. You know,
sure, yeah, man. Yeah. And same, I would say that, man. Like it was it was a thing. Like weirdly enough, even in like middle school, it was a thing with the ladies. Like we were big on socks, so we were spending the bread to like only wear NBA socks. Yeah. So like, you know, we showed up with like 6 pairs of socks on. You know what I'm saying? We had every color on. You know, but it was like a thing. They're like, oh, those are kind of hard. Like it was just like a talking point at least. You know, got you going. So
man, it's like a survey. Like, sometimes you got to survey shit.
Weird.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you never know what'll work.
So what you got in here? You got a basketball.
This is
right
basketball.
There.
Sterling Athletics is a company from like Washington. So we were working with a local company. We also did baseballs with them right before this. We have another couple. We have like, you know, obviously you guys know, man. We're all big on hoop, man. Yeah. We're all big on hoop. So we're doing all this to get to like a leather ball. Like everything what we do is in terms of building our product always has a story, like, you know, and always will like try to develop in quality and that sort of thing. You know, so things will start rubber and then get like designy and then get to something that's like probably
I'm gonna need one of those for the summer,
you know,
for the outdoor hoop sessions.
This is like supposed to be,
with that guy right
you know, based off of like, you know, our youth, like you keep one in the trunk, and like something like this. Not your indoor joint, but like you keep this, like I got this in the shoes. We can whatever.
Yeah. So I like that though. That's dope.
Some of that, you know, trying to play into that, and then this is to me, man. This is our pride and joy, man. Like we do a lot of satire. I'm sure you guys noticed that, right? And so the Sasquatch is our like Washington, like for, you know, we also Tacoma has Ivan the gorilla, so we could really just run with the ape thing on some like we're some you know got the gorilla too.
Ivan the gorilla.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we could go, and we do touch on his history here and there. It's a sad one, but you know, we try to like just let people know that it was like an important thing to Tacoma. The plush pillow for me is like the Sasquatch means a lot, so it's a lot. We push it a little bit out there more than we do any of our other emblem and that sort of thing.
Why pillows? Because I'm just curious. Because how do you know what space or what product to go into? Or you just shoot your shot?
You shoot your shot. Okay. And because like again, for me this is like heritage to like what we do. So I was saying I have to say like the bait pillow. Like the bait pillow and like the first atom bomb pillow, and like that's what you do if you have like emblem, like you run it. And our logo is a little too like cut up to make it a pillow in the way that we wanted to. So we were like, yo, he's perfect. And like he represents more than just, you know, a lot of a big thing that we get is like, oh, it's like to Tacoma. But a lot of time I'm like, man, some of our best graphics, they don't even have etc. on there. Like one of our most fire graphics from last year. Sorry, it's a little random tangent, but one of our most fire graphics from last year was like the to me was the Rene Magritte photo painting, which is like the dude with the sky behind him and the top hat, and he's got the apple on his head, right?
Okay.
So like we do satire stuff, so we flipped it faintly. The bowler is now the dome, and then we changed the color of the apple, right? So to make it ours, right? And that was like the little.
And you didn't have your logo on it, right?
No.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. So for me, like, that's just kind of a hard shirt, you know?
But they knew where it came from at the end of the day. That's
yeah, for sure. Yeah. But, yeah, I was just saying, like, I feel like a lot of the time, like, we just get a rap for being too Tacoma, which, I mean, I get that, but at the same time, like, Tacoma's in Washington, you know?
Yeah.
Like, it's like people in L.A., like, people in California that live in San Diego and wear brands that are from L.A. It's just L.A. all day. They live in San Diego, you know what I'm saying? But for them, it's like, I'm Cali too, though.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, like, that's what we're just trying to break that, because that's why there's even the thing with Seattle Tacoma is because of, like, we're so about our little neighboring, our cities, like, we're about that. And a lot of them are like, like, you know, blue collar working, like, local made, love the farmers market to death, like, all the way up and down I-5. It's like that, you know?
Yeah.
So, but anyway, man.
No, I'm glad you touched on that.
I had to, man. Just because, like, y'all showing love. This is
that's what it's about.
Seattle, like, being like, yo, you know, come up and tell, like, your story, because obviously, you know, your audience is more Seattle than it is.
Man, to be honest,
or
bro,
I don't even know.
It's bigger, but it's bigger than that, bro. That's the whole point. that's why we even bring it up. It's like, it's like, dog, what are we talking about right now?
Yeah.
We're talking about a distance of what? How many miles?
The beat is crazy.
So when someone, I don't care where you're from.
Yeah.
Like when it comes to this platform, man, we're talking about the culture, and that's everything that culture encompasses. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And so, like, not to say I don't care where people are from, but it's like that's not the point.
No,
right?
No,
the point is how we can collectively move to a place where that doesn't matter, bro.
Yes.
Because at the end of the day, we don't own these cities.
No, and that's why I kind of like.
What the fuck are you talking about?
It sounds like, man, I feel like I'm like, okay, but somebody got to do it. It's like, yo, I feel like I have to say this stuff every once in a while because, especially when I'm on like a podcast and we're like having dialogue, because it shows like number one that clearly we can have dialogue.
Yeah.
And then number two is like. All of us are kind of like in a space where we're like, we don't really understand, or at least like the creatives. It seems like I don't know who's beefing.
Yeah. That's
somebody is clearly.
That's real.
But
it's like a cartoon where it's like the boss and all like the motherfuckers just don't know what's going on.
Yeah, but
like
they're beefing.
Yeah,
like anyway, man, I'm sorry about that.
No, that's real. That's real.
I was gonna ask you about that anyway.
Is definitely a Washington thing, right? And like that's a cutting. Like a built-out accessory for us, like where like we come with specs and like again we're dealing with like sourcing material.
Do you have these in different colors or is it?
No, this is the first one. Okay. This is the first one, and we want to do different materials and different colors, but we also need to see that like they understand. You know, that our audience understands what we're doing in terms of like making lifestyle pieces and stuff that's not just apparel and all that kind of stuff, you know. So
nice. What else you got?
And then the last thing
back our Sonics, bro.
Is
Sasquatch.
Sure,
But
is the dome. So this one is very Tacoma, but like this one is something that we thought is very funny because pretty much every Tacoma brand does they're like touches on the dome because you'd be foolish not to.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's such a big selling point, right? But everyone does like a graphic where the dome is an umbrella. So we were like, yo, let's just make the umbrella. But the craziest thing about this is like most Washingtonians don't use umbrellas.
I know.
We don't.
That's crazy.
We're like, yeah, that's cool. So for us, it was like a big risk thing. Like, who are we making this for?
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, I'm like, yo, we're a lifestyle brand, and like it's supposed to be in every household. Like we're making this for like old white ladies, bro.
Yeah.
From Tacoma, bro. We want to be everywhere, and they're buying this for their son or their grandson randomly.
Yeah.
Because they think it's cool.
Well,
and somehow that's gonna bridge the gap.
No, but also you gotta think about it. Like we talked about, you know, there's a lot of, I'm not gonna say transplants. We got a lot of people moving here, right, from different cities and stuff who aren't accustomed to this weather. So, you know.
Yeah, for sure. But ours is definitely made for people from. I'm not even going to front. It's for the Tacomans.
All right, well,
there's that too, you know. But I'm saying, like, I couldn't even, like, in respect to what I was saying earlier, is like, now this is not a piece that I see Seattle like mobbing with, like ETC or not, like you got to be die hard at that point, just because it's like, what are you doing, fam? You know what I'm saying? Type situation.
At the end of the day, I ain't trying to get rained on, so it's whatever.
Yeah,
like,
but I'm saying, like, you could be like, yo, they're just happen to be from there, and like, yo, if this was a New York brand and it had like, you know, the subway system on it, like I'm rocking it, fam.
First of all, I ain't gotta explain shit. I'm a grown ass man. I ain't gonna explain to you. I don't gotta explain why my umbrella has a Tacoma Dome on it. What are we talking about right now?
There's that as well, but there's a lot of weird.
I ain't got time for that.
There's a lot of weird ridicule, you know.
No,
I guess
right
when
though.
you're sitting there
Right
in
though.
it every day, like
That's
listening
petty.
to the conversations, you're just
That's
like,
petty.
that's what we're about.
You gotta make a Tacoma Dome North Face or something.
Yeah.
Everybody tap into that one.
That's crazy.
That's what I'm
if
saying.
If that's what we're talking about in 2019.
Yeah.
The logo on my umbrella, like, all right, you just told me I don't need to be talking to you. All right, man. Well, you got anything else you want to add before I ask the golden question?
Social media handles.
Yeah, man.
How can
We're
we get in touch?
at ETC Tacoma on everything, on all the platforms.
All platforms.
Yeah.
Well, we'll make sure to plug that as well.
Yeah.
Now, I always ask this question for all our guests to close out the show. I think it's a great way to just kind of sum up everything we talked about, and then also, you know, cast ahead what you got coming. So, if you can, what's one word to describe what keeps you on the up and up?
You could explain it too.
Providing, man. My whole life, man, not my whole life, I guess, like, as I figured out, like, oh, like, what am I doing? Like, I don't know, what am I doing here, like, on Earth? Just like what's supposed to be, like, what should I be doing every day? Like, providing. So, like, that's my thing, you know? And I have a really, like, my dad is, like, me and him have, like, a weird relationship, but, like, that's my guy now. Like, he's my guy. And because of that, like, I'm like, man, like, the main thing you did was, like, provide. Like, I didn't really need a bunch, but, like, if I needed something, like, bro, like, boom, you know, like, in a way, like, that I can't explain, like, not, like, necessarily, like, always financial, just kind of, like, you know, and then, like, obviously my mother, she's, like, an amazing provider, and like then like and me is like, yeah, okay, I see you providing for me, but like and I feel that, I love that, but like, how you providing for this man, like how you providing for my dad, I was also like, yeah, like I see it, so there are like many versions of it, you know,
it's contagious.
And so like, and now I'm learning like space, damn, we're just providing space, yo, like,
yes sir,
let's continue to do that.
Yes sir, man. Well, we're taking notes, man. We're definitely taking notes for sure.
I appreciate you guys having me here, man.
Nah, man, definitely. Thank you for coming, man. And I hope, always, man. I hope a lot of the listeners and viewers were able to learn from your story and learn from your success as well. Yeah, man, this is crazy, man. This was a dope episode. Yeah. Episode 32, man. I'm gonna remember this one.
Yeah, you guys obviously. I mean, I just knew coming in here would be very professional, which helps like steer conversation very easily, and I can be talkative. Like, that's kind of like what I'm supposed to do for the company.
Good, man. That's good.
It works.
That's good.
Yeah.
It helps. It makes our job easier. So, do you have anything else? Oh, no? All right, well, also want to mention Erm's DJing February 10th. Make sure to go pull up. You going to play some J. Cole? We'll talk about that later. All right, man. Well, if you don't know, now you know, man. It's official. Umi Wagoner and ETC are officially members of the Up and Up, man. Let's get a round of applause for you. Thank you for coming, bro.